Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting video. And for today, alright, cut the crap out. We gotta talk about some business here. Yes, I'm talking to y'all Sony fanatics as well as your Nintendo diehards. If it ain't clear by the time you clicked on this video off of this little thumbnail, yes, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 as well as the PS5 Pro. Because with these two things, and I'm tired of seeing all the discourse off in here, these quote-unquote leaks, I've been seeing this stuff pop up in my timelines and stuff like that, Twitter, everything else here on the internet. And I'm not the biggest person to talk about leaks and stuff. I'd rather talk about things when they're confirmed or when I know that it's still in an actual leak phase and I know it's going to be really true. That's when I like to talk about it, whether it be my podcast or whatever else though. But seeing all the rage and stuff on the internet though, I have to give y'all my takes because I like to cut all the crap out, get down in the nitty gritty, and let's talk about the actual meat and potatoes. So in this video, I'm going to break down what I actually think about these leaks. Are they actually true? Are they actually false? And give y'all that kind of answer that's probably somewhere in the middle though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into this video. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about these PS5 rumors first. We'll go ahead and break that stuff down, then talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. So according to a well-known rumor leaker-ish kind of person, according to Tom Henderson, who actually reported correctly on the Q handheld, the DualSense Edge controller, as well as the PlayStation InZone line of products, he's quote-unquote saying that this PS5 Pro is codenamed Project Trinity, and it's apparently been in development since early 2022. Dev kits are going out in November. It has like a 30 WGP and 18,000 MTS memory, accelerated ray tracing, and targeting for November of 2024 release. So those are all the details that we know actually with the PS5 Pro quote unquote in the rumor mill though. Now looking at all this stuff at face value, people kind of assume that it would be in the natural tendency for it to be a PS5 Pro to the original PS5, because we had the PS4 Pro and right after the PS4. However, times have changed and technology is always an evolution thing. Yes, at face value it kind of makes sense for them to kind of repeat that pattern. But the main thing I'm kind of looking at this little rumor here right now is this necessarily needed right now? Because if you look back at the PS4 era, when we went from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, 4K TVs were coming out at that time. So it made sense, especially with Sony, because they're in the entertainment business. It's just not the gaming industry with them. They really want to push their 4K TV. So it kind of made sense for them to actually, release a PS4 Pro to be able to handle the higher graphics with the higher resolutions of games and making the fidelity look a lot cleaner and all that stuff. It made sense from a PS4 to a PS4 Pro. However, in terms of the PS5 to a PS5 Pro, go through and Google right now how many exclusive PS5s that we have at this moment right now. And then you come back to me, because apparently last time I counted, there's like literally only a couple handfuls right there, because a lot of games, especially on Nintendo's first party side of things, have been releasing both on the PS4 and the PS5. I mean, yes, you have a couple exclusives I can think off the top of my head, like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, as well as like Spider-Man 2 that's supposed to be coming out within the next few months. Yes, you do have some, but a lot of them, like your, God of War, Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West, is released on both PS4 and PS5. It's kind of crazy to think, how can y'all release a PS5 Pro when you don't have that many super exclusive titles? Yes, I know Final Fantasy 16 just recently came out, but with all of those games I just mentioned aside, there hasn't been a ton that's just only exclusively been for the PS5. So I don't think necessarily the power for the PS5 has been tapped out to the point now where you want to go ahead and release a PS5 Pro. And the other thing that was kind of, noted with this PS5 Pro would be the fact that it's going to be capable of pushing 8K. Does that actually even make sense for a Pro that actually be prioritizing 8K when if you look and, you know, go through and Google some of that stuff and look up some of the prices on Best Buy or whatever for 8K TVs, you're talking about thousands of dollars. I don't know what would be the priority to actually push 8K when that type of technology is extremely expensive, and unless you got a lot of that green, I don't know how in the world you're going to be able to handle and be able to, you know, make the ends meet in terms of being able to get all this technology before you just be able to run these games right there. Because even when you look at the PS5 box right now, it does have that 8K logo up in there. So I don't know if it's just as simple as like flipping on a switch for it to work with games, or is that really meant for you to be able to stream 8K, you know, media in terms of like your movies and your shows and streaming services, rather than actually having native 8K up within your PlayStation 5 games. So the combination of some of that stuff just honestly makes me look over here at this room and I'm like, does the ends meet for all of this stuff right now? Is this really what we need based upon, you know, the little bit of stuff that we kind of seen what the PS5 is naturally capable of them being able to release right now? I don't know. I know this dude has been known for making some things right in the past, but if you go through and check everybody's track record, they're not 100% right on everything else though. So I'm like, I don't know. I just really honestly don't believe that this rumor right here for the PS5 Pro to be necessarily true. However, if they went through and actually made a mode up in there where it's like, right now you have fidelity mode and you have performance on a lot of different games. Do you want your 4K and kind of 30, or do you want a lower resolution, kind of close to 1080, but have like 60 frames per second? It's kind of you flipping back and forth, and some games that have it right in between, in the middle though. But if this Pro version were to have a consistent 4K 60, I could see it a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know what Sony's really thinking of. But then again, they do have that Project Q handheld thing, and I think that's for a certain niche audience as well though. So honestly, just looking at all this rumor stuff right here, I'm leaning more so on the terms of no, this is actually going to be true, or slash not all the details that have been thrown around in this rumor mill department is going to be necessarily 100% true. Maybe it's a little bit more of a performance booster. I could definitely see that, but in terms of marketing 8K being the big major focal point, that's just definitely not the case though. But yeah, that's just really how I'm feeling, at least on the PS5 rumor mill side of things. Now for y'all Nintendo diehards, let's talk about this Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, because oh shoot, I definitely know patience is a virtue, and I know people are desperate to get the performance up on some of these Nintendo Switch games. Yes, we've seen games such as like, you know, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity having a little bit of, you know, performance issues, stuff like that. You can kind of notice with some games, you know, the frame rates are kind of dropping. When you're playing a big open world like Tears of the Kingdom, you would love to have an experience that not necessarily runs on 30 frames per second like what that game does, and it'd be really nice if you can have it move up to like 60 frames per second, stuff like that. It'd be really nice though, but you know, I wouldn't say that this Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be announced anytime soon. But let's go ahead and jump up into the details of this one rumor. So Nash Weedle, a trustworthy leaker, claims that Nintendo has already given a Spanish game development studio the upcoming Switch 2 development kit. So ideally, if you were kind of, you know, connect the dots and, you know, trying to beat around the bush, it's kind of implying that Mercury Steam, the developer behind Metroid Dread, would have been the receivers of the ones that would have had this development kit for the Nintendo Switch 2. So this has kind of been making people lean on the fact and idea that, hey, if Mercury Steam were to have a Nintendo Switch 2, then maybe, you know, an imminent release date or a reveal could be happening for the Nintendo Switch 2. Some people were thinking that it was going to be in July based on some other kind of rumors and whatnot though, how some people were predicting that the Nintendo Direct was going to be in July. That was before we kind of knew what the June Direct was, so people were kind of thinking that that release date is. But if you're watching this video right now, yeah, the July Direct thing, that didn't happen, so that's completely out the window right now though. But you know, it's just kind of crazy how people will kind of think that, because let's keep it $150. When a new console comes out, yes, Nintendo is going to give to their most trusted partners, which is going to be everybody within their first party studios. They're going to obviously get one, as well as select third parties. They got to be like super big, like your Ubisofts or your Capcoms or your Square Enix. They kind of work within 12 to 14-ish window frames, and it's not like people can confirm nor deny whenever they got development kits though. So yes, are there probably development kits out there for the Switch 2? I would highly think so, yes, but it's not like no one can confirm confirm nor deny that. So I don't know why you kind of build the basis of this rumor. It's really kind of like, so-y, like, there's really no substantial evidence in this because you can't confirm nor deny any of this stuff right here. And if this wasn't already obvious by this point with that little bit of info we had right here, apparently there was a graphic out there for the Nintendo Switch 2 mock box art or whatever, though. They were saying that it's a leak, but let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. Because apparently when you're looking at the box arts right now, yes, it seems like you got like the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con holders like that. It looks like you got the dock, which is a little bit smaller than what the Nintendo Switch standard dock is in right now. You can kind of see like a cleaner UI and stuff. Like you got Tears of the Kingdom, Mario 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 3 and all that stuff. You slide over there to the right on a different side of the box over there. You also see Super Mario Brothers Wonder right there. And it's like, okay, it kind of looks kind of cool, but the Joy-Cons, oh shoot. If Nintendo hadn't learned anything already about how the Joy-Cons operate, I would fully imagine that they would not be using those same controllers, or if they do, they kind of modify them in some kind of way. I just wouldn't think or envision them actually looking the same like that. I just don't see it though. But then if you look down at the Nintendo Switch logo down there, see how the 2 is kind of like up there in the little circle and whatnot though? That's the same kind of logo as 1-2 Switch, that game that first released when the Nintendo Switch first dropped out way back in 2017. So this kind of seeing some of the things off with the logo, the Joy-Cons not really making sense or whatnot though. And if you get into like the nitty gritty of seeing how the layouts are called, and if you saw more stuff about this leak and how the Nintendo eShop was called like the Nintendo Shop and whatnot though, even though they've been calling it the eShop since the 3DS, Wii U, and now the Nintendo Switch, you start adding some things up and things are just not quite lining up the way how they need to be in terms of this brand new system though. So when you're kind of looking at all that stuff, it's like, I don't know, things are just not lining up for this thing. And people were thinking it was going to be revealed in the month of July. That has came and went. And then people are thinking, well, you know what, maybe this stuff is true or whatnot though. But it's weird how people always jump on the assumption of thinking, hey, we see this little thing right here, it is confirmed a leak. Because let me tell you and break down what is fake, what is actually considered a rumor, and what is actually considered as a leak. So what is considered fake is something that is not true. A rumor is something with questionable authenticity. And meanwhile, a leak is a confirmed bit of information that was released early. I do not know why people are automatically, when they see anything out there on the internet, they're like, oh, something leaked or something leaked there. No, more than likely not. When people tell you to take it with a grain of salt, it's more so on the lines of a rumor, because we do not know it's actually confirmed based upon, some of the stuff that's actually been showcased, especially when you're looking at this Nintendo Switch 2 quote unquote leak that's actually considered as a rumor. Because some things that actually have been leaked that I could tell immediately when I looked at them, when you go back and pull up some examples. Remember when Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was actually leaked? They actually had confirmed little bits of graphics, confirmed little bits of images and screenshots and stuff whenever Ubisoft was supposed to have like their Ubisoft Forward presentation around that E3-ish time that happened a day early. You can look at that stuff and you can just tell it was clear and evident. Then a little more recently, you can remember whenever Tears of the Kingdom, it was like, it was close to the launch lead up. It was like probably about a month or so out or something like that. And then month or a few weeks or something like that. And you saw on the Nintendo eShop, as well as multiple different retailers were taking down the pre-order listings for Tears of the Kingdom. You saw on the Nintendo eShop, it got marked up to 70, and then it just automatically just disappeared or went back to 60. When you saw screenshots of that, that's actually from official sources of, reliable information, because Nintendo wouldn't just, fake that up on the Nintendo eShop or whatnot though. So yeah, so those are your little bit more confirmed bits of information right there. So you have to kind of keep all of that stuff in mind whenever you're going through and considering what is actually fake versus what is a rumor versus what is an actual leak. So don't necessarily assume everything out there on the internet is confirmed a leak. It's more so need to be taken down as a rumor. So how am I feeling on these rumors or leaks, as what some people thought it was, for Nintendo Switch 2? I think pretty much almost all of it is basically false. Yes, I know there might be some truth in some of the details with the development kits and whatnot though, because obviously, if we're expecting it to kind of release in 2024 holiday at the latest, yes, Nintendo and them is already kind of working on what could be their next generation of games if they happen to drop that in 2024. That might not necessarily be fate, but in terms of, you know, these mock-up box arts and stuff leaking from factories and stuff like that, I don't know. There was just too many things that just kind of dissuade whatever kind of credit that some people or whoever was clever enough to make this fake leak. There's just too many things that's just going against it that actually gives it enough credibility to possibly even consider it to be actually true, though. So I just kind of want to bring some awareness to both the Nintendo Switch 2 as well as the PS5 Pro. Yes, I think at some point we'll probably get something from both of these two different companies on both of these two console fronts and whatnot, though. But I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Like all things in life, you know, patience is a virtue. Yes, we're going to get the successor to the Nintendo Switch, and maybe eventually, I don't think it's anytime soon, we might get something from the PS5 thing. I think the detachable disc drive is more likely to happen first, but versus an actual PS5 Pro. But with all things, we got to have a little patience on there, because how many of y'all actually went into y'all's backlogs and actually managed to go through and play all of the different games that you have right now? I imagine most of y'all have a lot of stuff to go through and play that actually occupy a lot of y'all's times versus, you know, having to speculate on, you know, new consoles and stuff like that. Yes, I know new technology is always exciting though, but give it enough time, let the developers work. Don't try to be super antsy or whatnot about it. Get, you know, drumming up a lot of interest and stuff. Yes, it's always fun to speculate though, but at the end of the day, you know, be responsible for your own hype levels. So that way, at the very end of the day, when these quote unquote leaks turn out to be actually fake, you won't be actually disappointed in all of this. So that is essentially all that I had to talk about here within this video though. But you gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, whenever you first heard about these rumors, or what some people like to consider as leaks, but they're actually rumors. Let me know in the comments down below, did you actually think that these were real? Were you actually one of the ones that had a little bit of common sense to actually take these with a little bit of grain of salt? Because you knew, you know, deep down in your heart, they're probably more than likely not true. There might have been a little bit of truth up in there, but like most things, there's always a bunch of lies within the actual truth or whatnot though. But just let me know down in the comment section down below. But that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like it, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.